All right. Okay. We're going to do some more Eberron artwork this morning. We're building an adventure called Crystals of Mabar. We need tokens and creatures and stuff, so let me check my signal here. I'll go through my intro, and then we'll get started here on building that out here for a bit here this morning. Mic check. It looks like I'm coming through okay. All right. Let's see. That's I can still hear myself. That's not good news. Let's drop that down just a bit more. There we go. Copy here. If you have been here before, you can skip ahead a minute. Like if you're here in the future, hey, then go ahead and skip forward a minute, and then we'll get into the meat of creating stuff. But for those that are trapped here in the present moment with me, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them, and I publish them online. I've been building content. Well, I've been DMing for the past, I've been a DM since 1987. So like 47 years this year. In May it'll be 47 years. And so I've played everything from Red Box to present 5e, and I started creating content for 5e on the DMsGuild back in 2017 when Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica came out. I just started creating homebrew content because I wanted to have a color magic system for MTG conversion games. There's a slew of links in the description down below to other books that I have previously created, but I've never created and published an adventure. So Eberron is my favorite campaign setting. It has been since 3rd edition. So this is where I call my home. I just posted on the X Twitter platform that I'm live. You can follow me on there at Phil Kearney if you're interested. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when I'm live. Holy Hannah. Hey, we picked up new subscribers. Thanks a lot. Welcome to the mix, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when I'm live in the future. This book cover we created back around episode 40, so if you check the Wayback Machine here for the full playlist, all 206 episodes will be here in the playlist for you guys to check out. And just to toot my own horn, for the past 19 months, I've been streaming the Spelljammer book. It is published. It is live now here, Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. It also happens to be #1 in the most popular DMsGuild titles. So go ahead and jump after that if you're interested. Check that book out and let me know what you think. But for now, we are going to get work here on, let's get the cover out of the way. We're making creature tokens. So when we last left off, we were making a plague oak, which is a tree that most of the trees in the manifest zone of Mabar rot and die. But some of them become basically possessed and suffuse themselves, get suffused with Mabaran energy and become hostile and evil. And this is a hostile, evil tree. One of the plot hooks is the gatekeeper druids want you to go into this region and destroy whatever is artificially creating the manifest zone, which is a very gatekeeper sort of thing to want to do. And so they get you into it's the adventure set in Karnath. So to get you from like Eldeen reaches to Karnath, it's a long, it's like 800 miles, something crazy like that. So they do a ritual tree stride spell to open up a door for your team to go through and arrive in the manifest zone. And this is the only tree that's left in the manifest zone. So this is where you come out of, and it immediately starts to attack you. So enjoy. But if you're playing gatekeeper, gatekeepers as your patrons, then chances are you're in a kill squad of some sort that's attempting to end with extreme hostility, extraplanar threats. And typically the best solution with extraplanar threats is to kill first and maybe ask questions of your elder. You know, don't ask your own question. So I think this is pretty on brand for a campaign that would theme around gatekeepers trying to destroy a manifest zone. They give you a gate seal, a little tile, a little stone tile with runes all over it. Massive magic. flick it at the nexus of a manifest zone, and it converts into a 2-ton brick. Boom! That just lands on it and then seals the manifest zone permanently. I don't remember what book that's in, but it's a thing. It's a total thing that exists in Eberron. So they give you one of those tokens to shut down this manifest zone permanently, and then kill anyone that you find that's been messing around with it. Because that's how the gatekeepers keep Eberron from being destroyed over millennia. That's how they roll. But a hostile militant druid circle is, I just love that. I love how much Eberron leans into subverting tropes or making allies from typically hostile enemy type creatures, or makes enemies out of traditionally allied sort of NPCs. Like a druid sect, you don't expect a druid sect to be the eco-terrorists, basically. And but I mean that's what Gruul is. So that's very on brand for the things that I think are interesting. Because I'm a big Ravnica enthusiast, and they have the Gruul are their own eco-terrorists, destroying structures and trying to return Ravnica to simplicity. But this is just a specific druid circle. The gatekeepers, they prevent the world from being destroyed however they can. In my campaign setting, they detonated the core of the planet to prevent Dalcor from converging with the world of Dalcor, the realm of nightmares. They shunted the orbit of Eberron to prevent another convergence with Dalcor for like 400,000 years, something crazy like that. But detonating the core, there was an event of Dalcor converging with Eberron in the canon with a K history, something like 40,000 years ago or something. And so in my version of Eberron, that's when they detonated the core. So we're catching up with society far later, tens of thousands of years later. They've figured out spelljamming as a means of traversing the wild storms that stretch between the asteroid nations, and so you can fly through the core of what's left of the planet. It's called the Morning. The deeper, like the lower in altitude you get, the closer to the core of what was the planet you get. That's called the Morning. The O-U-R, like the Mornlands, but now it's the entire core of the system that all the asteroids orbit around. So the deeper into the atmosphere you get, the higher level the wild magic gets. Basically, I just roll on a table. If the team delves into there, I roll a random table of like what level it is. 0 is cantrip to 9th level, and then the severity, as in like how often lightning strikes, and every time lightning strikes in the storm, it triggers whatever the random spell is that's active in it. So you could legitimately resurrect the dead by throwing their bodies into a wildstorm and hope that it can raise them. Sometimes it can, honestly. It doesn't restrict what type of magic you use. I just use the master list of all spells. So it could be a druid spell, wizard spell, cleric spell, artificer. It doesn't matter. It's just magic at whatever level is rolled, 0 to 9. So that allows for a lot of chaos. Zendrick is lower in atmosphere than the asteroid chain of Corvair. The nation asteroids of Corvair have a collective title for what their cluster of asteroids are, and then there's the Zendrick continent of Zendrick, which is a continent, but it's at a much lower elevation, so it's closer to the wild magic, which makes sense for Zendrick. Sarlona is higher altitude than Corvair. It's closer to the tier what is it, the Ring of Sybaris, the psionically charged mind crystals that orbit the planet. It fuels psionics. So that the nation continent of Sarlona has higher elevation. They're naturally closer to the psionics. The Inspired and the Kalashtar are all psionically imbued creatures, so that totally jives. In that campaign, specifically, the moons that represent each of the planes are not actual physical locations. They are free-floating portals that lead to the plane that the moon is related to. So I forget the name of the moons. But when they're full, when it's a new moon, the portal is closed. And as it moves towards full moon, when it's a full moon, the portal opens and then it closes again. So there's a very small window in which it's actually open. And those portals are so far away that they are rarely / never a problem. But there are sects of gatekeepers that are out there keeping an eye on the moons. And there's an entire campaign that can be told fighting enemies, that alien species and planar invasions that try to creep through the moons, that get waylaid, stopped, or basically sieged by the gatekeepers. They don't have much presence in current day Eberron because they're out in the system. What they did is, so when they detonated the core of the planet, it blew out most of the mantle into deep orbit, floating through cyberspace. And so the gatekeepers then took responsibility for what they did. So they're all out in cyberspace, grabbing hold of and pushing rocks back towards Eberron. They figure if they get enough of them to get back into orbit, they'll eventually all just fuse back together into a new planet. They don't care if it hits a community or not. So the gatekeepers are like, they'll rebuild in 10,000 years. Who cares? Like, that's the way that they think. Their mission is to get as much of the rock back to the system, back to the planet as they can. So it can, just like I said, it can refuse. So the established nations look at them as they're the worst frenemies ever. It's like, we get what you're doing there, but you're going to break all my stuff. Can you do it more delicately? They're like, no, go away. This is the most efficient path that we have to restore the planet. It's taking tens of thousands of years for us to do this. Shut up. We're busy. We don't have time for your petty politics. Go get bent. I love it. I love that. I think I'm going to shift perspective here so that this is more frontward facing. Yeah, that's starting to feel a little better. I like that. I gotta admit, it would be fun to build a cyberspace supplement using the Spelljammer mechanics I put in place. The campaign that I'm running for my home table now is an asteroid belt campaign. Since the druids keep pushing rocks back into orbit, those things, if they're going to hit a location that will cause harm, like a lot of them will just pass between all the asteroids and just go back to the core and start to accumulate mass down there. But if a diviner picks a seer or a scryer, clairvoyant picks up that a rock that's incoming is going to damage a community, then they'll put out an alert, and then they have to break up the rock to try to change its projection. What's the word I'm looking for? Projected path, projectile. Why is that word escaping me? If you know the word I'm trying to say, put it down in the comments, yo. But then they have to... so most of these rocks have valuable resources in them. Like Biesk occasionally, copper, adamantine even. The team is currently attempting to secure an asteroid with a lot of platinum ore in it. And let's see. So I stream on Monday through Friday in the morning like this, doing token art like I'm doing right now. And then on Saturday morning is my workbench, and I have a commission that's coming up, but it hasn't triggered yet. So I'm going to use the. We'll see what happens in the future. Artwork Monday through Friday in the morning like this, tokens and stuff. More art on Mondays and Thursday nights, but often a different project. And we'll see what we get into tonight. Saturday morning is my open workbench where I can work on side projects or work on commissions. And like I said, my commission isn't quite ready to fire up yet, so that gives me an open space for me to do whatever I want in. And so what I'm going to do this Sunday, what I'll do this Saturday is update my. I'll show you guys the first update for my campaign. So they just completed their first mission, delving into the asteroid, the platinum asteroid, to figure out. Some miners were killed with weird fungus growing out of their face. So they sent in a delving team, the characters, to find out what's going on here. And so they messed around. They found out. They got out alive. It was a close call. And they got some. They found some exotic magic and some potential allies and potential enemies. And so they run a mission. When they decide that the mission is complete, we end that episode. They go back to base. We do a debriefing, and then so each adventure lasts up to 10 days typically. And so every 10 day, like a very Forgotten Realms term there, but every 10 day we do an update on the asteroid guild that they're a part of. So they have 3 territories that they have basically mining rights to. And so as asteroids orbit the planet, the territories, the plots of mining, the mining right territories are synchronistic. So they don't. It stays like if your plot is over Karnath, then it's always in that center, in that stationary orbit above Karnath, and then whatever asteroids come through the area, you can mine as your own salvage right, but it's also your responsibility to protect anything below that might get hit. So small scale operations that don't have the resources to be relied upon to protect underlying communities basically get stations out in the middle of nowhere. They're low risk. So they're high. They can be a lot more profitable, so they're more competitive to get access to. And so the campaign starts with them having bought up the contracts for 3 plots of land or three mining territories that are above open terrain, open sky. So if they fail at protecting the Eberron from an incoming asteroid, it's just going to fall through to the core of the planet and just add mass. So it's a low risk, potential high reward area. So that's what the team started with, but it's also nestled between nasty territory, between Droam and Elven claims. So they have hostile enemies on both sides of them, which makes them, even though it's a low risk to mine that territory, it's also incredibly hostile. Because both the elves and Droam moved out of orbit. They don't care about the planets like Corvair. They don't care about Corvair. Not their nation. They recognize that there's diplomacy to be had there to help protect those communities as well as their own form of leverage in trade negotiations and tariffs and stuff like that. But you don't need to get that deep into the weeds if you don't want to. So on Saturday, I will do an update. The guild has an update. There's we built out during our lunch development stream. We built out the random tables for what type of ore, what percent of purity it is, what threats may exist. We built random, basically hex crawl style tables out of all those variables, and every 10 days we update those variables. Here's what's floating into your territory. Whatever is there currently is floating out of your territory. You can continue to mine things as they leave your territory, but you're no longer in your protected, contracted area. So it's the Wild West in space. Other guilds or nations can take shots at you, and there's technically nothing you can do about it other than to go to war with them. And you may or may not be on your own. If you can gather allies to support you, then awesome. They'll invest resources into your effort so you can potentially have military campaigns without exhausting your own resources. But you have to negotiate that stuff. You have to win those rights. I'm going to fix myself sitting in my chair here. So on Saturday we'll do an update. We'll do a DM update. We'll do a DM session for my Asteroid Belt orbital campaign. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up this Saturday, Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays during lunchtime here in Seattle. I have a game development stream. I built the campaign that my team is currently playing in about 13 sessions. The Rubble Belt campaign that I'm currently building for Ravnica to playtest the martial power system that I've been streaming. That's coming online in April. We're very, very close to done with that. Right now we're just building out environmental hazards to challenge the team as they explore different lands and regions inside the Rubble Belt. And so we'll get that. We're going to get that up and running here probably in the next 2 weeks. We'll start playtesting that. Hey, Tyler, it's good to see you, man. Hey, right on. You've had a chance to chew on it. Did you like it? Thanks for the words, man. I appreciate it. Hey, cool. Right on. Hey, Ornetico. It's good to see you, my guy. Yeah, all right. No hate. Well, hopefully you think it's good, because if you've been spraying the word, it's on you if it's horrible. I mean, it's number one on the DMsGuild right now. It can't be. It can't get that much hate. I question if I'll ever reach that status again. Thanks a lot, man. People nitpick. People find reasons to hate things. But I can legitimately defend everything that's in that book. Like, everything has a logical reason for being the way that it is, and if people can come up with a better way of doing this, like if somebody wants different air mechanics, then they're certainly welcome to do so. That's the cool thing about it. It's so modular. You can choose to use my visibility rules or not. It's up to you. I think all this stuff in there is really elegant, and it all really works well together. And it helps build a cohesive frame of physics to be able to make, like I say, it's a good foundation of rules so that DMs can make their own rulings. And ideally, I think that's what a game system is supposed to do. Just give you enough tools to grok how things work so that you can go off and build your own thing, and have something that you think you can reliably go back to reference to be able to provide further insight if you. If you're in a place that's like, I'm not sure how I should rule this. And I think we did a good job accomplishing that. More like people going to get used to this, but I don't know. Hold on. Let me fix my... that's much better. Oh my god, oil. Oil in my eye. Accursed fate. More people like going to get into this, but I don't know if I'll be able to use it. Unlike me, I'm actually creating a whole new setting, and it will be hella useful. Started as far as... Oh, that's right, yeah. Cool. Hey, thanks, Hornetico. It turned out really well. I am so looking forward to using that skill set that I built and applying it to this Eberron campaign. Oh my god, my eye. Every time I build something, it teaches me something new that I can apply to other stuff that I'm doing. It all just kind of builds on itself. But that's how, experience works. Let me carve this out like that. I feel like I want to make this blah, blah, blah bigger. Ooh. There we go. I love Farscape, man. I love Farscape. What a fun world. Shoutcast, the YouTube channel Shoutcast, streams Farscape 24/7. So I occasionally dip in there and listen to stuff. So many. I think my favorite episodes of Farscape are when they're on Earth, and spoilers to anyone out there. Sorry, it's been acclaimed for years. If you don't know Farscape already, you can afford to endure some. You can afford to endure some spoilers. But yeah, when they show up on Earth for a while, I love that. And then the finale movie when Hot for Katrotsky, when they start doing Katrotsky stuff. That mini series, like with the Bird of Paradise and the Scarran Armada, all that stuff. I love those. Was like 4 episodes. Freaking sick, man. Farscape world building is just so good. I think the first supplement I'm going to do for Spelljammer. There's 2 supplements I know I'm going to do for sure. Because they're probably going to be fairly quick turnarounds. One is Vokath's base. Convert that into a 500-foot giant combat crab. I'm trying to look and see if so in the Elida Zaraxis, there's a fleet of basically 12 star moths that show up at Vokath's base to try to find Zadali, the princess. And there's variable results there depending on how the team operates. So maybe she'll be able to hide from her brother, maybe not, and she gets taken back to Zaraxis as a prisoner. But the idea is that since Vokath's base sits inside of a 500-foot square, it is viable as a... If I stick a helm on it, Vokath's base can be a 500, like the maximum size, like a carrier class spelljamming ship. And it has all the docking for the smaller... For all the spelljamming vessels to arrive at. I spent some time looking at this on one of the Spelljammer streams previously. I'll see if I can dig that up and link it, but I want to build that out, like actually build the schematics for that ship and build a ship tracking sheet for it. And I'm trying to, I don't see it yet, but I want to get to a point where you can convert the adventure so that Vokath's crew can see that the star moths are en route, and raise defenses activate the battle station spelljamming combat ship aspect of the base, and potentially fleet up with the visiting ships to repel the Zeraxians. And so instead of them showing up looking for Zadali, they actually have to fight to get her. So you can repel them, and now they're like, oh crap, there's a hostile force out there. We have to go back to our home and potentially defend ourselves from what is probably going to be an incoming invasion. So you can set the fourth act in motion by fighting in the third act. I think that'd be a really good way to approach it. But I haven't quite figured out the numbers there, because I think there's only 9 ships that the team would. There's only 9 ships that are what's the word I'm looking for? Moored at Vokath's base, and then there's Vokath's base itself. So that's a total of 10 ships, but most of them are smaller than the Star Moths. But I think between the 9 of them, there might be enough of a battle that if the team does well, I mean, if the team does badly, they can retreat into Doomspace to get away. But if it goes well, then they can potentially flip the script on how the adventure works, and then put the Zeraxians on the back foot, and afraid that their plan to destroy the character's homeworld is going to end up blowing up in their face. Pardon the pun for anyone that knows. That's the idea. So that's Vokath's base. So it would be Vokath providing statistics for Vokath's base, a combat map for his base as a ship, and then build out the fleet combat scenario for it, so that the team can have control of 10 ships versus the 12 or however many ships it is that we have. I think it's 12 ships. So that might actually be a close enough battle that it's something I can legitimately put together. Maybe do a little bit of play testing in June or sooner. And then the other thing I want to do is living ships, is creating the sentient ship sidekick idea. Those will be fun little, like, relatively low lift extensions that I can tack on and then bundle with the core, the book that already exists, the core book. Start building a bundle out of it. Boy, I am really rambling today. Don't mind me. Put a tilt in this. So that's something I'll probably end up making my B project, like my Monday Thursday night project, just to start building that, like building the floor plan for Vokath's base and blah blah blah. That's a fairly low lift. And then the living ships is that's going to be a heavier lift, like living ships and sidekicks. I don't know how to title it properly. I like to put and symbols into my books so I can hide the DMsGuild symbol inside of the title. I just like to do that. Like Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica. I did that here. I'll show you. Just go on a quick brag tangent. The Spelljammer book, and then the Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica. Here's Pacts and Patrons. See, I have the DMsGuild hidden inside of the title here. Let's go to open that in another page. See, Pacts and DMsGuild symbol, patrons, and then Spelljammer book. Combat and exploration. I love doing that. So anytime I can put like an and symbol, I want to put an and symbol. Because I think that's fun. Anyway, back to work. Sup? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, and they also tweeted it. The DMsGuild really, really did me a solid kindness. I mean, I've been adding at them for literally 19 months. So when it finally published, like they didn't tell me they were going to do this. They just did it. They built ads around it, and God bless them, man. They advertised my book on Twitter. That's awesome. I did not expect that. The OBS crew is so kind. I love those guys. They're really, really sweet. They always answer my questions really quickly, and they provide me like when I question, how does somebody do something like this or that or blah blah blah. They work with me. They offered, like, if I end up publishing my in-command system on DMsGuild, which I'm debating towards going to Kickstarter and not putting it on DMsGuild. But they said if I wanted to put it on DMsGuild, and if I did a conversion guide for the Greyhawk adventure, Trial of the Warlord, that they would bundle it with the command system. So it's like, oh my fucking god, are you kidding me? And they're like, yeah, we could do that. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, they're willing to work with you on stuff. Like, if you've got ideas, they're interested in it because they just think stuff is cool, and they have all these resources available to them. Super cool people. I really hope the guild picks up back again in September, because there's so much cool potential there. It's just, they take such a big chunk out of, they take, half your profits go, a third of a book goes to OBS, and then 15% goes to Wizards of the Coast, and that's a big chunk of change that gets pulled out of any book that you put on DMsGuild. So it's difficult to hang there, but I'm emotionally tethered there because I love the IPs. All these, like the Spelljammer, Planescape, Eberron, Ravnica. These are all Strixhaven. These are all D&D IPs under Wizards of the Coast. So, like, if I'm going to publish official, like quote unquote official, if I'm going to do anything with those IPs, generally it's either going to be on my Patreon and make it free for people to look at, or I could put it on the DMsGuild and then provide a free preview, but have a means of creating income off of that. So it's like it's a real crapshoot of whether or not I want to put like independent systems on the guild or not anymore. Like, the command system isn't necessarily tethered to anything unless I choose to put it there, in which case it's now DMsGuild property. Yeah, they really do. They do what they can with what they got, and yeah, I believe in them. I think they're cool. I think they're really, really cool. I don't know how to create Roll20 conversions. All I know is how to create assets that just fit on Roll20, but I know there's a tool that you can build to, like, sell content through Roll20, but I don't know anything about that process. I was too busy building books to learn how to make the virtual tabletop stuff. But if there's a means for me to be able to acquire that with relative ease, then I would certainly be open to doing so. Because all the assets that are in the zip file are all drag and drop, ready to go. I broke them up by chapter, so whatever chapter you're in, you can just drag the tokens and the relevant maps into whatever virtual tabletop it is that you're using. So, like, it's super simple. So I was like, I didn't think I would need to make a Roll20 product specifically, but all those tokens are things I could potentially sell through Roll20, so I should really consider it. But that's my biggest pitfall is doing the marketing end of stuff, because I'd rather be building things than marketing the things that I already built. It's the probably the most clear line between me as a business versus an artist. Like, artists make horrible businessmen. For me to be able to market assets, I have to stop painting or writing or whatever. Like, I can't produce and market at the same time unless I'm here on stream. Hi. But right now you're kind of taking my word for it, you know? Anyway. If I was made of money, oh, the things I could do. Meow. Thanks a lot, man. That's very sweet. Very, very sweet. That feels pretty good. Just gotta blend in down here a little bit. Add in. I want to get a little bit more color off of the Assassin Vine token, just to add some sources of highlight, and then we'll probably be able to move on to the next piece. Off screen, I'm arguing with stat blocks. I hate stat blocks. It is a weakness of mine in 5th edition content, in that I don't like how chunky 5e monster stat blocks are. They're just so, God, they're exhausting. There's so much shit in them. Like, I missed 1st edition where it was like orc, armor class 14, damage 1d8, morale 8, illustration, you're done. Like, oh, it was so simple. I yearn for that simplicity to be back in modern D&D. You don't need God, it's just so much bullshit. Way, way too complicated. I make up most of the stuff on my stats anyway. I mean, like, once you get proficient at being a DM in Dungeons and Dragons in general, like, you don't need stats. Like, Monster Manual really isn't important other than just as a source of inspiration for what you want to throw at stuff. There's so many books that do that job already, that do that job just as well, if not better, than what WotC had presented. And that's WotC's main problem, is that they're like, they kind of have to be the white bread of 5e. Even though they created the system, they can't afford to take risks with the design ideas. They offload those design ideas to third-party content producers and the general homebrew community to come up with weirdness. They keep an eye, obviously they keep an eye out for what's going on, but they don't want to risk their own resources into like a deep dive into Spelljammer combat mechanics, or, you know, anything involving Eberron. it's just, if it doesn't have enough popular lift, then it's not worth their time to invest marketing into it. It's a shame there was no popular live streams that fired up around 5e involving Eberron, because God, what a different world we would live in if Eberron became the sweetheart campaign for the entire face of D&D. That'd be amazing. And Keith would have earned it, man. I mean, he already did earn it, but it would just... It would be nice. I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. Eberron really does deserve that level of attention. It's such a good setting. Let's just do that. Nope, I was right. Scraggly Crags. What's up? You're going to back. Hey, right on, Tyler. I hope you have a good crash, my man. Yeah, let me go ahead and just ramble you to sleep, my guy. That's the nice thing about study hall. It's a chance to take a nap if you need it. So yeah, this Saturday we'll do a DM update for the orbital mining campaign that my team is running. Friday we'll do we'll continue with the Rubble Belt DM prep so that we can get that up and running. I'm hoping I'm not too concerned, but I'm hoping to get a decent variety of folks that are interested in West marching that playtest campaign, and I'll need to figure out what day. I'm going to have to sacrifice either my Saturday workbench, my Monday or Thursday night. Those are the only three places I can logically drop a 3 or 4 hour, like a 4-hour session. I'm thinking it's going to be Monday or Thursday. That worked well at the time for the for both the for the Spelljammer and the Eberron playtesting that we had done. So I might have to just lean on that again. I hope that we have enough people that are interested to show up and sling some mana with me. Not quite ready for it yet. Yeah, any chance I can get into this West Marches? I'd love to play Test March. Well, of course. I mean, I'll be posting on patrons. Paying patrons get first seat access if the day whatever. So we're going to do a vote on which day of the week we're going to do it, and members of my Patreon get more votes, and folks that are on my Discord get votes. And whatever the consensus majority is, that'll be the day of the week that we start off with the opportunity, if there's enough interest in other dates, to potentially rotate to other dates. And paying members of the Patreon get first rights to seats, and then it goes to my Discord community to flesh out the seats. And if for some reason we don't have 4 people at the table with us, then we'll try to build a third string roster of like other Discord community members and stuff. But I mean, if they're interested in the playtest, then they're gonna fold into my Discord anyway. So Patreons first, and then Discord community second. And of course, if you're available to play, you're of course welcome to play. It's hopefully I'll have a rotating cast of folks I'll be able to show up. So if you're interested, just respond when I start posting more stuff about it on my Discord or on my Patreon. I built a ton, not a ton, but like 11 third level characters that are currently in the Martial Powers playtest content. And of course, you can all the powers that you have some set powers depending on what subclass you choose. But otherwise, they're prep casters, prep casters. So you can switch out all of your abilities whenever you finish a long rest. but the adventure is being played day by day. So hopefully, if the timing works out in a 4-hour block of time, we'll be able to go through 2 short rests and then into a long rest in a 4-hour session to just basically do a day of West March, and then whoever shows up the next week gets to step out of the camp that next day. We'll spend a few weeks at 3rd level, then 5th level, then 7th level, then 9th level. And I've already been playtesting at the higher 16th through 20th level over a number of months with my playtest with my home table. So I know it works well at the high end. It's the low end that I need more feedback on to make sure. I suspect it's going to be like the playability is good. But I also Daryl Drunken Yoda. He's got a playtest that he's running on Thursday the 4th, which is going to be what is that? 2 weeks from now? Yeah, 2 weeks from now. That he had an open call for people to play test and something that he wanted to DM, and he's like, if whatever you want to do, you can do. So I'm bringing in, I'm going to make a martial powers character. It's 5th level, so I'm going to make a martial powers character, and run alongside whoever it is. Like Josh from Dungeoneers Pack is going to be in the mix, and I don't know who else is going to be there, but I'm looking forward to that. I don't get to play a lot. And I certainly don't get to play test my own stuff a lot. I get to run stuff at my own home table. And the Curse of Strahd campaign that I'm running right now, I'm playing a Selesnya divine sorcerer, worshipper of Saloon, and he's allowing me to use the color mana sorcerer system that I built. So I've got my mana pool is white and green, which works really well for a moon druid or a moon sorcerer. So it's the divine sorcerer subclass again. So I have access to the cleric and the sorcerer spell lists, but I'm limited to white and green mana. So some of the spells, like I picked up Web because that's a green spell and that's an easy obby. And Guiding Bolt, which is white mana, which again easy grab because just that and Twin Spell. We're still using the normal 2014 rules, so I can twin my Guiding Bolt, and that's just 8d6 damage is insane. And since it's the mana system, it's just the spell points, the sorcerer points, and the spell points are the same pool. And I can learn extra meta magic instead of spells if I want to, but I don't have a wide enough. I don't have a deep enough library for my character enough to really be able to lean into meta magic. Since there's 4 of us, so and they need cleric support, so I have to devote. Like healing spells are both white and green. Like Selesnya is such an easy pick because that's what they needed. But it's fun, man. I love playing. Using I also I got to run an Underdark campaign where I was playing an Izzet goblin. No, it was a kobold. It was a kobold goblin artificer that was running around on it was a battlesmith. So I had a steel defender mount because I was a kobold. I was size small, so I could ride on the robot dog that I had, and I was allowed to spend feats to pick up martial powers to apply to my dog. So my dog had what was it? It had the restraining, the grapple restraining thing. So like when you'd hit with a bite, I could then spend a point of mana and then restrain the target. So it was prone and restrained while the dog kept its teeth on it. So it limited what the dog could do, but it was a good lockdown. So that was really fun to do. So when I have the opportunity, I love using the color mana system a lot. It's so fluid. It jives super good. Let's do that. So my plan is to start up the Martial Powers playtest campaign by as early as the 7th, which would be a Monday. 2.5 weeks from now. So I think the Orbital Belt should be good to go by then. And so this Saturday we're going to do a campaign update for my Orbital Eberron campaign. But then the following Saturdays will be me building as a DM some sample hexes or some sample lands to crawl through, because by next week, if everything goes well this Friday and Monday next week, I should have enough land hazards resolved to be able to officially start building hexes. And to see what randomly... Oh shit! We have to integrate creatures as well. So I'm under the gun there. We'll figure it out. We'll get everything built. It'll happen. And I think this tree is nearly done. I like that. I like how it looks. Let's go to our Assassin Vine and pick up some highlights here. Yeah, please do. Please do. Yeah, it needs to be broken so I can find where the flaws are at, so we can make it the strongest book, the strongest product we possibly can, which is the purpose of playtesting, is to stress test it. I had this, a lot of the powers was built around this assumed fail saving throw, but and at the high levels that worked pretty well, but I'm noticing that it's kind of hubris. I'm having a recant that I have to do there, because I don't think it's such a divergent away from normal D&D combat assumptions about like saving throws when you get targeted by effects and stuff like that. This would be such an outlier, odd duck, that I think I have to reel that back in and make most of the targeted effects built on a saving throw. So I'm going to have to spend a little time recalibrating that, but it's probably for the best. I think when I wasn't really considering how it would jive with other systems, and it really should. I can't assume that it's going to sell with radical deviations of the system. Like, it's already such a variant system with the spell points, and then all the actual powers as alternate spells, like to tap on top of that, like a different saving throw resolution. I think that's asking to go too far, so I'm going to have to reconsider that. It was fine for my own campaign, but I don't think I was really looking at the big picture of how are other people going to want to use, like how can this be integrated into other people's campaigns, and it's a big ask. For a DM to incorporate an alternate spellcasting resolution compared to what most other classes do. So I think I have to spend a little time rebuilding that, and it's probably just for the best. It's a darling that I think I have to kill, which means that there's going to be more saving throws, which I'm not happy about. So movement based stuff, I think, like the Eldritch Blast. Repelling Blast doesn't have a saving throw. I'm going to lean into that idea with movement-based effects that could potentially have saving throws, but we don't necessarily like movement stuff. Like Restrain is probably going to have a saving throw on hit. But like push, like the Thundering Strike that pushes a character 10 feet per mana. That's going to be something that I wanted to have. I'm going to hit tap on there. Where are we at? Oh my god, yeah, 7:32. Cool, I've still got 20 minutes. So I'm going to have to reconsider, like maybe it's 10 feet from the push mastery, And then the Thundering Strike allows you to increase the movement by an additional 10 feet per mana spent. So it's not. So it'll have an you don't have to spend if you don't want to, but it'll cost you an additional learning, an additional prep slot to have the cantrip, as it were, the push cantrip. That's basically what they are, cantrips. Let's go to here, but I digress. We'll get to it. That's probably we're gonna have to as a DM finish this stuff out, but we'll have a little bit of time to spend on that. That's looking pretty good. Can I? That's feeling pretty good. Yeah, we'll just add in some of these these darker shadows, and then we'll probably start working on the next thing. I'm on Raw. Yeah, this is all working out. I can hear this. I can hear the squirrels screaming outside. It's getting daylightish. I've started throwing peanuts out off my porch, and crows, blue jays, finch, and squirrels are starting to pick up that I have a nearly infinite supply of peanuts. So they've started camping my camping on my front porch, or on it's my back porch. Sorry. Camping the back porch in the mornings, waiting for me to toss out food, which is awesome because I love the little critters. I live adjacent to a forest, so there's lots of critters that come out. We have possum and raccoon, and I haven't seen any deer, but tons of squirrels. We have an owl in the area now. There's a swampy pond nearby, so it's absolutely just overburdened with frogs. it's deafening. The amount of frogs that are active right now in the pond, it's just ridiculous. It is a swarm, an absolute swarm of frogs, huge. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and just save this one here and call him done. Good job, Plague. Put the save on that. P is for Plague. It kills us all. And then O-P for Plague. There we go. Now we got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. Let's roll a D6. Let's go to random.org. Sponsor, random.org. What is the big fuss over true randomness? Let's find out. D6, don't give me a 1. You gave me a 1 last time. It'd be random 6, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Barghast. Blip. Hey there, doggo. It's a puppy. Angry puppy. Gobbo. Trash drawer. Drop the trash into the trash. Ref. Let's go find a Barghast. D&D Barghast. Art. This one's from 3rd edition. I like the coloring on this one better. Who is this? Monster of the Week, the Barghast. What is copyright? Shut up. Everyone knows what freaking copyright is. Who is this? I love the coloration on here. So we're going to use this for the color. When you don't see color, you need to grab reference images to provide color for you. I'm going to merge these down. There. Do that. That's weird to have like that off. No, that's a purplish. That's neat. That's a purple, and that's sort of green-gray, green-red-ish. Let's just go with this default purple for now. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Who is this? No reference. All right, well, whoever you are, this is a really good piece. It's gorgeous, and thank you for the color contribution. Let's duplicate this. Dub. Color. Block it in. Comic book style. We block it in, and then we detail the color, and then we merge the line art with the color, and then blend, and then we move on to the next piece. This is just one of the random creatures that you can run across while approaching the manifest zone. I'm going to have to adjust that tail. I can tell already. That's okay. Do that. Yeah, I think that should be thinned out here. Something just turned off in my brain. Yeah, my gut's telling me I should stop stream here. I don't know why. But I'm going to cut 10 minutes early. Something just clicked in my brain that I need to log out. I don't know why. There you go. So it's Thursday, so that means I'm going to be back in about probably a little less than 12 hours from now. I'll be back on stream tonight. Not 100% sure what we're working on this evening, but we'll work on something. We're going to do something different. Work on our B project, and maybe we'll work on Vokath's Fortress. I don't know. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to do something different tonight. I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue working on this Barghast. Saturday morning, we're working on our Eberron Spelljammer Orbital campaign, the DM log update. And then we'll be back on Monday to do this again in the morning. We'll do more martial powers on Monday at lunch. And then Monday night, we'll work on whatever our B project ends up being. Thanks a lot, guys, for hanging out with me. Anyone that's new to the channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, get notifications. I'm here 11 times per week. And check out my stuff. Link down below. Spelljammer Combat and Exploration is now live on DMsGuild. It's been sitting in the #1 spot since its release on Monday. I'm really proud of that. Go check it out. Check out the free previews for all the books that I build. See if there are things that you think are cool to support. And catch me on Patreon. Catch me on my Discord channel. See you guys over there. Laters.